Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about files and types of files, how Python help us to read a file, and how can we write using Python in an existing file, and many more things. So watch the video till the end and learn many more new things. So files are the place in which we store our informations or any type of information. Now there are two types of files, that is binary files and text files. First we will discuss about binary files. So binary files are not readable by humans, that is we can't read these files, and the data is in continuous stream. This means that the data which is stored inside the binary files do not contain any line break or any type of gap, and there is a high corruption risk in these files. Suppose if there is a folder, and even if a single file is corrupted in that folder, then it can make the whole folder corrupted. So it has a very high corruption risk. And the next is the binary files have highly efficient storage capacity. This means that it takes the storage as much as it holds the character. It do not take extra space in the storage. And also the binary files are encoded in raw byte streams. Next, we have to discuss about the text files. So text files are human readable, and these text files use a special symbol that are /n and /r/n. These are the special symbols which are used to make the line breaks or to mark any line ending. And these files have low corruption risk, like opposite of the binary files. We are taking the same example again. That is, suppose there is a folder, and in that folder there is one file corrupted. So now there will be very less chance that that corrupted file will make the whole folder corrupted. And now the demerit is the text files have less efficient storage. This means that the text files take more space than it needed. Like the numbers, every numbers take a separate storage space for itself. This makes them to take more space than their requirement. So this is a demerit. And now encoded using standard character sets, that is ASCII and UTF-8. That is, they are encoded or encrypted with these character sets. Now also there are some extensions with the help of which we can differentiate between the binary files and the text files. So these are the extensions of binary files: .mp4, .mov, .png, .jpeg, and etc. Like we are storing an image whose name is image.jpeg. So this is the extension of binary file. And now next, here is the extensions of text file: .txt, .docx, and .log, etc. Now we will discuss about the method to open a file for reading or writing and for many more things. First, you have to keep the syntax in your mind so that you can open any file anywhere easily. So for opening any file, first you have to take a variable in which you can open your file. So I am taking f as a variable here, and then equal to, that is our assignment operator. So f equal to, and then I have used the open function. Open function will help us to open any file, and then inside the parenthesis you have to write the file name and the mode by using comma. And there are different types of mode which I will discuss further in this video, and I will also tell you an alternate method to open any file. So watch the video till the end. And this is how you can open your file. And now we are going to take some examples so that you can understand like how this works. But before knowing about the examples, you must have to know about the modes, that is, for how many purposes you can open your file. So the first mode is R, and R stands for reading. So when you will write R as the mode at the place of mode which I have written in the syntax, then it will open your file for reading. And this mode is a by default mode. That is, if you will not give any mode while opening your file, then it will open the file for reading by default. That is automatically. The next mode is W, and the third mode is A. Both opens the file for writing, but there is a difference between both. Some students get confused, but you don't have to, because if you will keep the difference safe in your mind, then it will become more helpful you to work on any file. So the difference is basically when you have to work on the old files, if you're creating a new file and then you have to use any mode for writing, then you can use any of them. But now, suppose you have to work on any old file or any existing file in which you have written 3 or 4 lines, then there is a difference between both the modes. Like if you will use W mode, then it will truncate the data of your old file, and whatever you will write, the new lines, it will overwrite in your old file. So your old data will get ruined or it will be deleted. But now, if you will use the append mode, then it works to write anything in the end of the file. Like if you have written 3 or 4 lines, then it will write from the sixth line. So your old data will become safe, and also you can write more lines in your existing file. This is the difference between both the modes. In the further video, I will discuss this through an example so you can understand it more easily. Now the next mode is X, and by the use of this mode you can create a new file and you can write anything inside that file. And the next mode is B. This is a binary mode. It opens the file in binary mode. Now there are some also modes which help us to update any file, and we use this by writing plus after the name of mode. So these modes are like R plus, W plus, and A plus. R plus works to open any file for reading and writing. First you can read and then you can write. So the order is important here, because the W plus mode also help us to reading and writing, but here the order is opposite of R plus. Like first you can write and then you can read. And A plus mode help us to open any file for appending anything and for reading after appending anything. Now I'm going to explain some examples so that you can understand the concept of modes in a more better way. First, I'm making a file, a normal text file, so that I can access it and I can make changes in it. So this is my normal text file, and I have named this file example.txt. And as I told you, txt is the extension of text files. So the name is example.txt, and these are the lines what I have written in my example.txt file. Now I am beginning with a very simple code, as here I have written only 3 lines of code to tell you about the read mode. So the first line is the syntax line which I have explained before. So I have simply written f is equals to open and in parenthesis example.txt comma r. If you will not write r and if you will not give any more, then it will take reading by default, but here I have mentioned, and example.txt is the file name here. And as our folder name is same, so I only have to give the file name. Otherwise you have to give the complete name if you will work on a different folder. Like if your text file is in different folder and you are working on different folder, then you have to give a complete name. I will discuss this in further videos. So now I am just opening my file by using the variable f. And now you can't do anything, you can't make any changes by using the f variable. So first you have to fetch the lines, the characters, and whatever data you have stored inside that file, that text file. So we are using the read function here to fetch that data from the text file example.txt. So in the second line I have taken a new variable data, and I have written data is equals to f dot read. Now this read function will fetch all the lines, that is the 3 lines I have written in my example.txt file, and it will store all these lines, all the data in the variable data. Now we can access our lines and we can access the data by using the data variable. So in the third line I have written print data. Now this print function will give me every line which I have written in my example.txt file. Now I am running my code, and here you can see that print function gave us every line which I have written inside the file. Now it is also important for you to know that the read function fetch all the data in a new variable in the string data type. So now I am explaining you by using the type function. So here I have written print type data. So this print function will print the type of the data, and type function will give us the type of data. That is the thing which we have stored in the variable data. So now I'm running my code, and here you can see class str. This means that the read function store every data and fetch every lines whatever we have written inside our text file in the string data type format. And now here our third code. Simply it is like the first one, and I have done nothing special in this code. But the change is the fourth line, that is f dot close. It will work the same, that the print function will give us all the lines whatever we have written inside our file. But I have written this to show you that it is very important to close your file, because you have used it again and you have reopened it. And now you must have to close it before going anywhere, like after completing your work, so that anyone just can't access your file and can't make unnecessary changes without your consent. So you have to use the close function, and you have to simply write f dot close. Then your file will be closed when you will perform your functions and whatever you have to do. So f dot close is the line which we use to close our file in the end of the code or program. Now I'm going to explain you one more feature of read function, and also I'm going to explain you a new function so that you can read your file more effectively according to your need. So before knowing that function, you have to know about how many characters your file hold. So I am using the len function here, and I have written print len data. So this will give me the total number of characters which I have used or which I have written inside my example.txt file. Now I am running my code, and here you can see that my file, that is example.txt file, stores 128 characters. Now this is the another way by which you can use the read function. Like you can give the number of characters inside the parenthesis of read function. If you will not give anything inside the parenthesis, then the read function will give you every character, that is whole character, when you will print your data. But if you will give the characters inside the parenthesis, then it will give you only the number of characters you have asked for. Like this is the example. I have written 50 inside the parenthesis, but the total characters which I have written inside the example.txt file is 128. But now I am only fetching the 50 characters. So this will give me only the 50 characters from my example.txt file. Now I'm running my code, and here you can see there are only 50 characters, and this is not the whole data which I have written inside the example.txt file. Again, you can see in this example I have written 100 inside the parenthesis. So now this will give me 100 characters from my file. So I'm running my code, and here you can see that it do not print the whole data, but it only gave us the 100 characters from the file. Now this is the new function, that is readline. So now you can use the readline function to fetch one line at a time. So readline function is basically used when you have to fetch only a single line. So you just simply write data is equals to f dot readline. That is, on the place of read function you have to write readline, and then it will give you the first line of your file. Now I am running my code, because also I have written print data, so this will give me the first line. So you have to use the print function. Now I'm running my code, and here you can see my first line came as my output, that is hello and exclamation mark. And also there is a function that is read lines. So there is a difference between both these functions. First one was read line, and this is read lines. So read line give you only single line at a time. But if you will use the read lines function, so it will give you all the lines of from your file, but in a list. So it will give you the lines as in the form of elements in the list. So now I'm running my code, and here you can see there is a list which contain three elements, that are the three lines of my example.txt file. So that's all for the video. I'm not making this video too long, because also there are many types of mode which I have not discussed here, but I have discussed the important ones here. So you have to explore all the modes by yourself, but I will definitely explain some more examples for the modes I have explained in this video. So wait for the part 2, and definitely watch the another video and explore more examples about the modes which I have discussed in this video. Thank you for watching, and follow for more.